right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin in the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Storm on Saturn, Nonsense, Travis Bird, Christian Mandy. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining. Sudeep, what is up? Welcome in. Okay, guys. So Bitcoin did end up front running our golden pocket yesterday, and we created a new high on the charts with Bitcoin front running this key golden pocket that we had down below yesterday. And we were able to push up, but you can see, where did we push up to? We pushed up to that level of interest, or right around that level of interest. If we zoom out here onto the daily time frame, you can see that we just wicked past that anchored VWAP, the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. And what this tells me is that we are seeing a pretty harsh rejection from that anchored VWAP from the all-time high. And this could confirm that the correction to the downside is going to continue. Now, in yesterday's video, we were looking for the relief rally to continue up, pushing up to at least that 113.4, 113.5K area. And we did push up to that area, but we did front run our liquidity and our golden pocket. So once again, guys, another front run of a golden pocket, but it was because we had hit into that anchored VWAP from the all-time highs, getting a rejection from that anchored VWAP. And now we are dumping, and we had some little bit of a bearish catalyst this morning with some news dumping down. So is this the end of this relief rally? Is this push up that we've seen over the past week over and done with? And now are we about to drop down to make new lows on the charts? The fact that we did reject from the volume weighted average price here of the all-time high shows that the downtrend might continue here. So we still have now a couple things to look at. Of course, our golden pocket is going to change because this golden pocket is from a previous high, so we'll get rid of that one. We can turn on a couple local levels here that we're looking at. What is going on with this? All right, and let's zoom in to the hourly chart. Bitcoin is dropping now, losing the point of control of the range. We're in the process of bearishly backtesting that point of control right now, and bouncing from our local 786. You can see bouncing from that local 786 here. But that new golden pocket is going to be in alignment with yesterday's lows. And if we can come down to yesterday's lows, see an SFP of yesterday's lows into our value area low of our local bottoming range, we have a very local bottoming range that is forming here. And if we can come down, hit into that golden pocket, grab liquidity, bounce from that value area low, this bottoming structure, this bottoming range that often forms around more macro support levels might continue to form, especially knowing that we are going into the weekend, and oftentimes on the weekend we have low volume, rangy type price action. Let me check the chat here, see what you guys are saying. Chris and Mandy, yes, I did have a good trip. It was awesome, man. Time away with family, visiting the beach and stuff like that. It was great. If you want to fix the money flow on the knockoff MCB, make it draw from the Heikinashi candles. Okay. So Crypto Shot 256, I assume you're talking about Market Cypher's money flow. Could I show my settings on VWAP? Well, my settings are just regular settings, but I just turn off the multiplier bands. So just go into, come up into here, go up into VWAP, and it's just the regular volume weighted average price here. And when you go into that volume weighted average price, you can see it has these bands that are turned on, and you just turn off the bands. You just turn off the bands and it will get rid of that. So yeah, coming in here, turn off the bands, and then you want to make sure this is on session as well. If it's on session VWAP, and then you turn off your multiplier bands down here, that'll give you your VWAP. Of course, you can choose to do a daily, a weekly, a monthly VWAP. There's different ones, and for what I'm looking at for day trading, I tend to stick on the daily VWAP. Oftentimes in trending markets, that daily VWAP will confirm whether the trend for the day is going to continue. And so, like yesterday, we came up to that VWAP, we rejected that VWAP in this area, and we continued down to make new lows. Don't forget Nami. Yeah, Nami, you guys, Nami is a great indicator. Since I've been using Nami, Nami is a bit quicker than Market Cipher B, and the money flow is based off of real money flow. And so, especially if you're a scalper or like an intraday trader, Nami is great for those confirmations, or giving you a reason not to enter the trade. And Nami, I have partnered with Nami. So if you are interested in purchasing Nami, there is a link in the description for Nami. And then there's also a 50% off code that False Prophet has given us for our community. Divine 50 is the code. That is also in the description. So if you guys want to get Nami, I recommend getting it while that discount code is still available. Yeah, but that so guys, Bitcoin's just ranging. Now, this front run of this key liquidity here into our golden pocket could mean that we still continue this overall slow, low volume grind to the upside until we hit that golden pocket. But we are falling back inside the volume profile now after trying to break out of the value area high up here, rejecting from that anchor VWAP. And because we did front run key liquidity yesterday, it could tell us that we are going to drop to the downside. Let's zoom out here. Let's zoom out onto the 4-hour chart. We are confirming bear divs on the 4-hour chart. You can see both NAMI and Market Cipher B has confirmed those 4-hour bear divs. Money flow is topping out on Market Cipher B, and on NAMI down here, money flow is about to cross over into the red here. And with this kind of big bearish engulfing candle that we got on the rejection from the anchored VWAP, it is kind of a bad sign that maybe this was just a small relief rally before the overall trend continues, or at least the range continues to develop here, this bottoming range that often forms at more macro support levels, at least going in through the weekend into next week. Juice World, what's up, man? Welcome in. It's good to see you here. Yeah, Juice World, I still am in Jason's Discord, and I do need to kind of get in there more with you guys and hang out more. I was on vacation for a couple weeks, and also I've got my own Telegram community now, so I've been posting a lot in that Telegram community. What's up, big deals? By the way, guys, if you are interested in joining that Telegram community, I have partnered with BYDFI. They are a VPN free and a KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you deposit $100 using my affiliate link, first off, they'll give you a 50% deposit bonus on that $100. You'll get discounts on trading fees, 20% discounts on trading fees, and you can get access to the Telegram group where I post a lot of my setups, a lot of my analysis, a lot of my thoughts on the market. The link for BYDFI to join the exchange and the Telegram group is in the description. Once you click on that link in the description, you can type in /verify and then your user ID, which is this little guy here, and then it will automatically get you into that Telegram group. It's your money to trade with. You get the 50% deposit bonus, so I believe it's a win-win for everyone. And then you can get access to some of my thoughts on the market throughout the day. We look at altcoins, we look at many different coins, not just trading Bitcoin. But yeah, yesterday we looked at the ETH trade from the bottom of the range. We did get a nice bounce from there. Now, we were looking at that live and I didn't take it, but I am in on an ETH long right now that I'll discuss later. And then also yesterday, we were looking at the Solana long from the golden pocket, which we did take. I did take. We talked about it in the stream. And we came up to a TP and got one TP at least. Still in that long position, by the way. Yes, but okay, guys. So Bitcoin is bouncing from our local 786, or it didn't hit it. It front ran it once again, just barely by a few dollars, and we are pushing back up to the point of control of our local range. Now, if we reject in this area of the local point of control, then we expect a dump down to the downside, and this could be a bigger three-wave correction to the downside, taking out the lows, maybe seeing a bit of a bigger flat correction in here before we come up to 113.5, or we could be seeing the dump continue all the way down to take out the lows from earlier this week and potentially come all the way down to 105K, where we do have that key anchored VWAP from our April lows in confluence with a naked monthly point of control. Are you still in the Soul Scalp? Yes, Crypto Shot 256. I still am in that Soul Scalp long opportunity, the long that we took from 201, 200, 201. And I did take a profit at 208. I posted this yesterday in the Telegram that I would be looking for the internal liquidity grab into the golden pocket as a TP1. We came up there, we got that TP1, and we obviously saw the big dump this morning. But we still have not taken out the lows. My stop is at break even now, and I entered pretty much exactly at 201. And stop at break even, TP1, 50% of the trade. And if we continue to dump down, then I get stopped out on the rest of it. Or if we continue pushing up here to take out our local liquidity above us at 213 into the value area high of the range, that will be my next TP, and it will probably be another 25% of the position. And then my final TP will be up at this 218 area where the macro golden pocket in confluence with the top of our pitchfork band is. I'm waiting to get that target we talked about, 113,800. Yes, I do think that area just above us, especially because we front ran it this morning. And anytime you front run a liquidity grab like that and a golden pocket like that, I mean, we did it yesterday and we reversed the trend locally and we continued up to make new highs. So there is a potential that this does front run again and we continue the dump down to make new lows now below yesterday's lows. Really, what is going to determine that for me is if we can reclaim this point of control that we're at right now. If we can reclaim this point of control, I do think we will continue pushing up into that general area of 114, 113.5 to 114. But if we cannot reclaim it, then I do think we will see that bigger dump to the downside. We will continue to come take out yesterday's lows. The local golden pocket is going to be where our other anchored VWAP was, and this anchored VWAP was from our previous January all-time highs, and so there is a possibility we could reject, and we could be forming a bigger impulse to the downside in a 1, 2, big 3, maybe down to the value area low 4, and then a 5 to finally come touch that 618 fib channel level that was front run, and this could be the start of a much bigger 5-wave impulse to the downside if we are going to see us drop to 105K or lower. So it is going into the weekend, guys. We do have to remember that weekend price action is often rangy and often low volume and boring. So I suspect that we are just going to kind of chop in this bottoming range throughout the weekend, maybe come taking out local levels, taking out yesterday's low or taking out the high that we made earlier today, and continuing to form this range until the markets open next week, until we get some more clarity. Also, these ranges generally form at bigger support levels because the market is trying to determine if that level is really going to hold. We have day traders and scalp traders like ourselves that we do play every move in the market. But a lot of the bigger players just play these more macro support levels, and they don't take it on the first go. They will wait until they get some sort of confirmation. And really, on the larger time frames, even to get a confirmation of a bullish market structure shift, we need to break the highs at 113,480, and that would give us a more macro bullish shift in market structure, breaking the lower high and lower low pattern. So if we can come up here, break that, even if we get the SFP, it would be a break of market structure. Now we could be looking for a higher low to come in on the charts before creating another higher high and coming up to that 118K area of resistance. Until we do that, market structure has continued bearishly, and locally at least, we do have to say that this correction could continue down to make new lows. We could continue down. We do have a lot of liquidity down below us, and let's let this load up here. All right. Yeah, you can see here on the charts a lot of liquidity resting below the lows of earlier this week. And that liquidity is a magnet to come down to take that levels. And we're not that far away from it. So with us being not that far away from it, do we really think the market makers are going to leave that liquidity resting down below so close to us and pump up to new all-time highs? In my opinion, it's unlikely. So I do think that even if we do come take out 113.5 to like 114K, We could see a reversal after that to continue this bigger bottoming range and then come down, take out the lows. If we take out the highs of the range, then we can come down, take out the lows of the range, kind of stop out players on both sides, and then continue the overall move, whether that is going to be a reversal in this correction to push up to new levels of price discovery or a continued dump back inside our 2025 volume profile and continue a much bigger dump to the downside, a much bigger correction to the downside that could last more weeks. Okay, believe there's a chance last push up. Yep, bearish divs. So I don't expect BTC to get past the POC. I longed at 110.200. Well, if you longed 110.200, that was a pretty good long right there, at least locally now. It is looking like it's trying to break above. We have to just be patient with this, and we have to see how it reacts there. Not seeing much of a rejection right now. You could see a couple red candles, red 15-minute candles, but this one we're pushing up above it. We did have the bear divs on the chart on multiple time frames. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves here, and our money flow is draining out of the asset. So this is a sign that we could see that dump back down to take out yesterday's lows. And it's not only on the 15-minute. We have 4-hour bear divs on the chart. We have multiple time frame bear divs on the chart. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, confirmed bear divs on the chart. Money flow draining out of the asset, crossing into the red on NAMI here, hitting into our anchored VWAP. And guys, if you do understand anything about trends, the volume weighted average price. So we do know that the market really trades based off of volume levels and liquidity. And with our anchored VWAP from the all-time high, you could see the last time we came up to it, same kind of thing. We wicked up into it. We saw a harsh rejection, came down and made new lows. And with today coming up into that anchored VWAP, wicking up into it, wicking a little bit past it, but seeing a very harsh bearish engulfing candle on the rejection, this could signal that, yes, this overall trend is going to continue down to that 105 area of support where we could see the bigger bounce from that area. But once again, like I talked about, this is going into the weekend. So in the weekend, it is highly likely that we continue to range between our green box of support that we're bouncing from and probably the highs of around 113.5 to 114K. Our Pink, what is up, man? Thank you. Welcome in. Thank you for making the stream. Thank you for modding. Appreciate you, man. So to answer your question, David, if you're long from that area, that's like the local bottom for the day. I would stay in that long. Like, why get out of it? If your thesis is wrong, if your trade plan is wrong, be willing to get stopped out. If it is not wrong, you are in profit and let that run up to the next levels. And really, I would be letting it run up to that liquidity grab that we front ran and that golden pocket that we front ran. That would definitely be a TP level for me. If I was in that local scalp trade, I would be looking at that area as a local TP. Yeah, big deals. I kind of see, to me, I don't know about a dump, but I would say a bit of a drop to the downside because of the bear divs that we are seeing on the chart. And with us going into the weekend, it might not dump like to 105K over the weekend, but I do see maybe a dump to the bottom of our local range. Maybe to hit this new golden pocket that's between 109,600 and 109,400, possibly coming down to 109K, where the value area low of this small range is. How do you find the point of control on the chart, Storm on Saturn? Well, there is an indicator here. It's called the PVP. So if you go into indicators and type in PVP, it stands for periodic volume profile. And click on that indicator. You come into settings, and you're going to want to hit extend POC right. That's the point of control. And once you have this indicator on, you can choose whether you want to get daily points of control, weekly points of control, or monthly points of control. And like, for instance, right now, we'll select the weekly point of control. And if we turn it on here, it takes a second to load up. But now you can see for this week, which hasn't ended yet, so this is not confirmed, but our naked weekly point of control, if we close above it, is going to be around 110,724. And if we close above it and the POC keeps extending right, that means it's naked. Like for this POC from the previous week, you can see that it's no longer extending because we hit into it, and so it's no longer a naked point of control. it's the volume profile has already been tapped there, and it is far less important. You really want to look at those naked weekly points of control. For instance, up here, we have a fresh naked weekly point of control coming up right into our box of resistance where our golden pocket, where our previous highs are. This area, this box, this purple box, and we can actually just extend that a little bit down to that naked weekly point of control, is going to be a very, very important resistance on the charts with all the confluence we have up in this area. But that's how you do it. It's called the PVP indicator. Great indicator. You can also use order flow softwares like ExoCharts and other order flow softwares to get them from that. Quad witching hour on the 19th. Yes. Okay. Well, that's still a couple weeks away, and a lot can happen in this couple weeks. We'll see how this market reacts at this support level. But remember, guys, this big support level here, this box that we've had marked out for months on the chart, for weeks on the chart prior to coming into it, is our macro support level that Bitcoin really does need to maintain and hold above if it wants to continue in this bull cycle, breaking out into new levels of price discovery, because it is the macro value area high of our macro range, our 2025 price action. If we look at our key volume profile of all of 2025's price action, that value area high, which has now shifted up a bit, by the way, when we had it marked out before coming down, it was directly in this green box of support. And because we've spent so much time over the past month or so, month and a half, above that value area high, it is starting to shift that value area high a little bit higher. But anytime you break out of a macro volume profile like this, you break out of the volume profile, oftentimes in a healthy market, after rejecting from a resistance above, you will come back down to back test that volume profile to confirm a flip to support before continuing to push up into higher prices. And so we're really in the process of that back test. But we have to remember, this is a high time frame volume profile chart, and it's not like you're just going to come down there, tap it, and get an instant reversal right away. A lot of times what the bigger players in the market like to see is a bit of a tap of it, support, a break of market structure, and a bit of a range form in here to give them enough confidence to say, okay, this thing's going to hold. Now let's long the bottom of the range and take it up into new levels of price discovery, or new higher prices, I should say. Yeah, but 105K, guys, very, very important support level. Now, if we look at, I believe it is our, yes, this chart here. This is the Bybit perpetuals chart, BTC USD on Bybit. You can see that we did come down and pretty much tap that anchored VWAP from the April lows. But even if we look at this, if we zoom in on this, you could see that it didn't even actually touch it. We front ran that tap of the anchored VWAP. And so, yeah, coming down, holding that general level of support and pushing higher, but didn't tap that. And then almost all the other exchanges, that anchored VWAP is down at that 105K area of support. Same anchored VWAP, just a different exchange, different volume-based levels based on the exchange. And we have not came down and tapped that. So if we look at Coinbase, if we look at Binance, all of these charts, we do have that anchored VWAP from the April lows that is not been tapped yet. Let's grab that anchored VWAP, throw that on there. Not been tapped yet. So just be aware that we could come down to that area and tap that level of support. If we lose 102K, we're effed. Yeah, I mean, 102K is going to be a big one. Honestly, losing the macro value area high and dumping back inside this volume profile could mean a dump all the way back down to 96.5. And then if we lose 96.5, we could dump all the way back down to 89K, where the value area low of our range is, 86 to 89K. And we really don't want to see that. If Bitcoin falls back inside of this thing, then we could see this as, on like a weekly time frame, a failed breakout of the 2025 fair value of Bitcoin, a failed breakout, and now we're going to continue trading back inside of the larger volume profile here, just creating a larger sideways correction. Looking to short the local GP? No, not necessarily. If we do come up to that area, 13,500, if we do come up to that area and I see the confirmed swing failure pattern, and we talked about this yesterday, what is a swing failure pattern? A swing failure pattern is where you pierce that level, you pierce above that level, hitting in. Generally, you want to see us hitting into a resistance above, which we do have that golden pocket resistance above, and then you lose the level after piercing above it, you lose back down below it. So if we confirm the swing failure pattern by piercing the level, rejecting from the golden pocket, and then dropping back down underneath, in this case 113,480, then yes, I will take a short position. Of course, your stop is going to go above wherever that wick ended on the pierce of the level, and then I would really be targeting the value area low of the range or our local golden pocket, which we would have to repull the golden pocket because it would change based off making a new high on the charts. But I would be just looking at trading the range until it breaks, right? If we fail to break out of the top of the range, then I would be looking to short and look towards the bottom of the range. But also because we'd be breaking market structure bullishly on the 4 hour by taking out this high, I would be taking profit out of our golden pocket retrace of that entire range, wherever that golden pocket is going to be. I would be looking at taking profit at least 50% of the trade there, because then it could mean that we are starting to change market structure shift from, a higher high, higher low, higher high. And that market structure shift is king. That's what really we want to look at for the overall trend, because so far we have been in bearish market structure. We have had bearish market structure over the past few weeks. And if that bearish market structure starts to break and change to bullish, then we would have to flip our bias, at least consider flipping our bias to, okay, this correction is finding support at macro support. We are finding a rounding bottom. We are breaking market structure bullishly. So now could we start to reverse the trend and start to see this downtrend be done with and now start a new uptrend? Yeah, so I guess that's kind of it for Bitcoin, guys. Let's look at our order flow charts here. Go on to the 15-minute chart. We are still forming that bullish CVD absorption, but I just don't like the way it looks. If we look at the way our aggregated open interest is, we are seeing on the CVD, as we're making higher lows in the price action, we are making lower lows in the CVD. So that right there is bullish CVD divergence. But if you look at your open interest is kind of all over the place, specifically from this low here on the chart. You can see if you look at that vertical dotted line, our open interest overall is increasing here. So technically it is textbook bullish absorption. But anytime you are seeing bullish absorption and you don't see a steady rise in open interest, but you see these big drops in the middle of that rise, it does tend, in my experience, it does tend to play out less often. The bullish CVD absorption does tend to play out a lot less often, and you get false signals that can occur. Like we would be coming down to our golden pocket, we would bounce, everyone would think, okay, the bullish absorption's kicking in, and then you just make another high, a lower high, and then followed by that lower low, trapping a lot of players. We have to be patient here. We are fooling around with this POC right now, attempting to break above it. If we attempt to break above it, we wick a little bit, wick above it a little bit, and then we start to close down underneath it. This could be a sign that we are going to see that bigger drop, at least to our golden pocket, our new golden pocket that is between that 109, I believe it was 109,600 to 109,400, potentially coming down to 109K. When you look at the anchored VWAP, what time frame do you typically look at as the VWAP will no, the VWAP, the anchored VWAP will not change depending on the time frame. So when you click an anchored VWAP from a certain key area in the market, and generally you're clicking these anchored VWAPs from key highs and key lows on the market, but if you click it here, it's going to drop to the candle body, but it is from this general area. It's going to be taking the average price based off of volume, and it is going to stay the same. That average price is the same whether you're on the 1 hour time frame or the 1 day time frame. The anchored VWAP will end in the same area. So it's more about the volume level and the VWAP won't change based off moving timeframes. Same with your daily VWAP as well. Your regular VWAP, it's the volume weighted average price, and it's not going to change based off if you're looking at it on the 1 hour or the 4 hour or the 8 hour or the daily. It's just the average volume weighted price. Do I look at vectors? Not really, Fat Boy. You can kind of tell what a vector candle is without even having the indicator on, because a vector candle is like an imbalance candle. And when you see, a lot of these imbalances create fair value gaps, like this big candle that we had here, that's a big imbalance candle. And oftentimes those imbalances, after seeing that big drop, you'll have a dead cat bounce to fill that imbalance, and then the trend will continue. So a lot of people get tricked by those imbalances in the market and will come fill that imbalance and then kind of reverse. But as far as vector candles go, you can kind of spot them once you're a bit more seasoned in the market. You can kind of spot those imbalances without necessarily turning on that vector candle indicator. Now, I believe Tino, who created the vector candle indicator, I believe it's like a 400% more volume within that big candle than the surrounding candles is what makes it a vector candle. So it is helpful to know, like if you turn it on and maybe that's at maybe this candle's like at 350% and it's not going to be a vector candle. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that an example could be that. So that indicator might be useful to give you like really good imbalances in the market. And I'm sure you can change the settings on that as well. But yeah, I do use them, but I don't use the vector candle indicator. I just look at imbalances through just, I guess, experience of looking at, understanding the market. When you look at an increase, okay, I read that one. Trump's going live today. Oh, interesting. Okay. And do we know what he's going live on is the question. Vector candle at 120. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think that 120, I mean, we have some resistance that's coming up in that general area, 118K. And I believe if we get above 118K, we're really going to be back in business for a new all-time high. But of course, we'll be watching whatever resistances are up there. We have a lot of resistance above us. Bitcoin has a lot of work to do now. If we look at our weekly levels, we have a weekly candle that's coming up right above 119,300. We have, I believe, a monthly candle up there as well. No, that's at 115. But we have a bunch of, a daily's up near the top, near the all-time highs up there. So there's a lot of resistance above us, a lot of levels to break for Bitcoin, a lot to kind of climb its way back up into price discovery. But we are at the bigger support. And if Bitcoin is going to reverse, I would expect this general area being that reversal point. It is the midline of our pitchfork. We hit perfectly from the midline. And if we zoom out on this, let's just go to the 6-hour chart. We did reject from the upper band. And usually when we reject from the upper band, you will see a correction back down to the midline. And the midline either will hold and you will get a bounce and a continued overall trend of the bigger bullish trend, or you will lose that and then start to create a bigger dump to the downside. And so we're at, we rejected that upper VWAP or upper pitchfork band again. And now we've come down to our pitchfork midline, which is holding very nicely so far, holding very nicely. And we are above the value area high of the range. That value area high of our macro range is really being back tested. We're in the process of back testing it and seeing it whether it's going to confirm a flip to support. Okay, for me, the VWAP also changes, but not by much. Okay, are you Crypto Shot 256? Are you using the standard VWAP tool indicator on TradingView, or is it like one that was kind of custom coded? I know there's a lot of people that have made their own VWAP indicators, and for me, it doesn't look like it changes very much because it's not based off time frame. It's based off of the volume, really, the average volume. Oh, Fat Boy, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I do like to teach because, well, first of all, it's I don't want people to get wrecked like I got wrecked, and if it does help you become a better trader as well. It helps you become more accountable to yourself. It helps you stick to your rules better, and it's just fun to have a community, to have people to chat with, and kind of, sometimes some of you guys in the community will mention something that I wasn't looking at. And it's like, oh, very interesting. Thank you for that example, or thank you for that insight there. And now I can incorporate that into my plans, my trading plans. So I think it's a good thing to all kind of work together, teach others and just like be of service, I guess. It needs to reverse faster after hitting the pitchfork. Seems like we might break it. Well, Storm on Saturn, I understand what you're saying there, but first of all, we did get a really good reaction when we actually hit it. We did get a really good reaction there, but we have to remember the context of the market. We were breaking out of a macro volume profile. We hit up into resistance. We rejected resistance. So when we're coming back down for that bullish back test, this is more macro time frame tests of Bitcoin, whether it's going to continue into price discovery or not. So a lot of times the true big market players will wait for more confirmation. They're not just going to accept and trust that it's going to bounce from that level just because it's there on the first try. They're going to wait for confirmations like bull divs to form. They're going to wait for breaks in market structure. Really, the big one is the break in market structure, because once market structure starts to break bullishly, now your bias can be like, okay, higher high. Now I can look for a higher low and then this trend to reverse. And so we haven't broken market structure. I mean, low time frame market structure, we've definitely broken bullish, but this key high coming in around that 113.5 is the key high that we need to break above. Even if it's just an SFP, that will be a break in market structure. Try to show the label for VWAP. It can change by, okay, 10 to 20 bucks. Yeah, Crypto Shaw. I mean, I guess I could see that it changing a little bit, but for the most part, it's changing like by micro percentages of a single percentage point. So I wouldn't be, too worried on a $10 to $20 difference. TradingView can't see volume data. It moves from 5-minute to the daily. It moves different amount. Yeah, okay. I see what you guys are saying, but it's not a significant movement. It's not anything that's going to really affect. By the way, the VWAP will be different based on the exchange because it's based off volume, and each exchange obviously has a different order book. They're trading with different traders and players in the market, so the VWAP can be off by a few $100s. I've noticed that Bybit's VWAP is oftentimes a little bit different from Coinbase's VWAP, but they're generally in the same area. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. If you've got any insight out of this stream at all, please hit the like button. Give me just a second here, guys, and then we will, when I come back here in a minute, we will go into some of the altcoins. We can look at whatever altcoins you guys are interested in. I will be right back. All right. So let's go ahead and real quickly and we'll go into Ethereum. Ethereum is still just trading within its range. Now, yesterday during the stream on Ethereum, we had this box of support marked out, and this was our 786, our value area low, and then there was some liquidity down there as well. And because we did reject and started breaking market structure bearishly locally, we were looking to come down to that 786 area and to see a general bounce from that area potentially. And yesterday, what we were talking about is to come up and break above our highs, maybe even all the way up to the value area high. Because if you bounce from value area low, you reclaim the POC, you can expect value area high. And we did get a nice push up here, broke local market structure on the intraday market structure bullishly, but you can see once again, guys, we have front run those key semi-equal highs that are all in here. And just like Bitcoin, we had front run the liquidity into the golden pocket. Well, Ethereum is front running the highs of this small sideways local range and we got that big dump. Now, yesterday during the stream, I was waiting till we actually hit the value area low of the range, and I was waiting until we took that liquidity that came down to 42.56. And because of that, and also money flow was a little bit bearish, even though we were seeing bull divs, we were seeing some confirmation to enter the trade. I said I was going to wait until we came down a little bit lower. Well, I missed that trade yesterday. I missed it. I caught the Solana trade, but I missed this push up yesterday, primarily because I was looking at the money flow being pretty bearish on the 30-minute chart. Well, today when we came down, we actually took out yesterday's lows, and we took out those intra-range lows, that liquidity that I was looking at, and hit the value area low. I did long, and I posted about it a little bit afterwards, but I posted about it in the Telegram that I am long from this SFP. And now I am going to hold this long position until we come up and take out these highs right around $4,500. Definitely will be looking at a TP before then, because we have such a big dump to the downside here. I will be looking at taking profit before that at our local golden pocket area, which is going to be coming in around 4,400, 4,407. But for the most part, I am long, and I'm gonna hold that long until we come up to the highs of the range, or at least to break above all our semi-equal highs of this smaller range in here. It's frozen. Uh-oh. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? It might have been frozen. I don't think I was frozen, man. I just grabbed some water real quick. So you guys can see here on Ethereum, if we look at this small bottoming range that is forming on Ethereum, just this sideways price action in here, the value area high of that range is going to be in confluence with that golden pocket at 4,400 to 4,407. And if we do, because this was such a harsh dump to the downside, looks a bit impulsive, and we did take out those lows, meaning that we made a new low on the chart, a lower low. So because we made a new lower low, the potential is we could come up, make a lower high, and then continue this downtrend here, taking out the lows of our range of this kind of side. Not the ultimate lows. Obviously, the ultimate lows of this bigger range are going to be down here. But we could be coming down to take out those lows from earlier on Monday. And remember, Monday was a holiday in the United States. Now, I know that the world doesn't revolve around the United States, but the United States market is the largest trading market in the world. And if that market was on holiday, not trading, if the market was closed, then a lot of the big players wouldn't be trading there. And so oftentimes you will get weakened lows and weakened highs that do get corrected, stopped out, come down to touch those lows that happened on the weekend. And so that weekend low is right around that 45.10, 42.10, right in this general area down here. So if we do reject from this golden pocket, then we might come down to actually grab that 4,200 liquidity, make a move back up. But be aware, if we do come down to 4,200, we would be losing the value area low of both our very local sideways range and our bigger sideways range in here. And we would have to watch for, after grabbing liquidity, if we come up and reject that value area low, then the trend will probably continue down. So yes, I'll be looking for a long from that 4,200 area, but I will be very aware when we come back up to the value area low of the range of both the local range and our bigger range, if we do reject that general area, which it is our support over the past couple of days. If we lose it, then it will be now acting as resistance. You took the ETH trade. Awesome, Thomas. Very cool, man. I mean, I am in that trade too. 4,400 first TP, and then really 4,500 is going to be the next one. When we're coming up here, if we're making local bear divs on the chart, like, within here, like that little guy there, then I will be looking at taking more profit, because money flow does look good. We have money flow rising here on the 30-minute chart. Let's actually zoom out to the 4-hour chart here. But on the 4-hour chart, you can see, even though we do have now locally potential bull divs, it's not confirmed yet. That 4-hour is not confirmed yet. And even on NAMI, we do not have the bull divs. Money flow is now starting to come back out again. And that is a kind of a bad sign because we have not broken market structure bullishly. We have not taken out this high here. Market structure has not broken bullishly. And if money flow starts to exit out of the asset again, then that just means that this trend could continue down. We really want to be watching that market structure. Market structure is king in trading. And if market structure changes, we have to change our bias with market structure as new data develops on the charts. But so far, we are in a downtrend on Ethereum. We are making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and then maybe now a lower low. And until this market structure breaks, our bias from the past couple of weeks has to remain bearish. It is good to start seeing a sign of a bottoming range, like a nice flat sideways range, because that does oftentimes mean that the selling is getting exhausted. You're finding a level of support. And then oftentimes after taking out the lows of that range, you will break that range to the upside and see a big reversal in that trend. And so we are starting to see the first signs of that on the chart, but we have to just be patient and wait. We have to be patient and wait for our levels to be hit. We have to be patient to wait for market structure to break and be patient enough to wait for bull divs on the chart. Okay, it's working. Good. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys took those ETH trades. So for me, Ethereum, guys, long story short, we're still in the bigger range, the bigger sideways range at the top of our macro pitchfork. Now, this pitchfork, the top of it is this blue line here. We did attempt to see some sort of breakout above it, but we broke out above it just to SFP our all-time highs, to grab the liquidity from our all-time highs and make a new all-time high. After doing that, we have now, really started a bearish trend here. And it is at the top of a macro resistance level where I do expect that we could see a bigger reversal from here. This range could break down and we could come down. Now, let me be clear here. On a higher time frame, I do think Ethereum is bullish. I do think we are going to truly break out to new all-time highs, not just a little wick above, but really break out up into the 5,000s, 5,500, 6,000 area based off of our bigger Elliott count that we have, a 1, 2, a 3. Now, if this 3 is done, we could be looking for a wave 4 retrace either to that 382 or even better to that 0.5 and then finish this big impulse on the weekly time frame or on our higher time frames, breaking up into new all-time highs. But locally, we could be done with this wave here and we could be seeing a bigger 3-wave correction down that could last a few weeks. And local market structure is bearish. So we are going to go with that local market structure until we see some sign of change there. We also had high time frame bear divs at the highs of the pitchfork, at the SFP of the all-time high, and just in resistance. So that's exactly what you want to see to look for a bit of a correction to the downside. Now, so far, this correction has been really flat. It's been a very nice flat correction here, and Ethereum has been really bullish. We are now in an even smaller range here, squeezing tighter and tighter together. And this range, I suspect this range could continue throughout the weekend, but eventually, probably next week sometime, we are going to see either a breakdown to grab the liquidity at 4,200 and then a push up to finally start breaking out of this range, or more probably, if the bigger third wave is done, then we are going to see a correction, and the correction targets are between the 382 and the 0.5 for a wave 4 correction. So we could see this thing finally start to break down and come down to some of these lower levels down here. I really like this $3,500 area. We have a naked daily point of control. We have the macro value area high of our 4-year long range that we're breaking out of. We have our 0.5 wave 4 retrace target, and we have the bottom pitchfork band, the bottom of the upper band of the pitchfork. So really, really good area to be looking at. That is a big drop from here. I understand that's a significant drop. But a lot of people would be getting very bearish if we came down to $3,500 ETH. At the exact same time, I would be licking my chops for a big swing long to new all-time highs. Okay, let's... So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys, on Ethereum. we're at the POC, just like Bitcoin, of our local range. And so we're either going to reject this POC and kind of continue down, maybe to grab the liquidity at 4,200. But if we can reclaim this POC, I don't see anything that's keeping us from coming up to this golden pocket at 4,400. This imbalance in here will start to get filled. This is a big fair value gap. And if we start to break into that fair value gap, yes, our VWAP is here, but I do think we will suck up really quickly to hit that golden pocket and the value area high of our local range, because bouncing from value area low of the local range, if you reclaim the POC of the local range, you can expect to move up to the value area high. That would be, of course, a TP, like I said, for me. Depending on what it looks like, I might only TP like 30% of it there. But I really want to come up and take out these highs and start to break market structure. And I don't know if that's going to happen over the weekend. But that's about it for Ethereum, guys. Let's actually, before we move on, yeah, money flow looks pretty good here. Money flow is rising on the 1 hour and coming up rising on NAMI as well. This hidden bear div that did print yesterday, it gave us a hidden bear div into that value area high, but we just saw a small drop from it and pushed up. So that hidden bear div is kind of played out. Let's go on to our 15-minute charts here. 15-minute money flow is starting to look a little bit toppy here and a little bit coming down, especially on, well, NAMI is back into the green here, and we did form very local bull divs on NAMI on the 15-minute chart, meaning we could push up to that golden pocket. I'm long. Like I said, I'm long on this. So I do think locally Ethereum is going to continue to range within this range. I would like to see us at least come up to 4,400. And if it is going to be a bigger bearish continuation, a rejection from 4,400 in our wave 2, if this is like a wave 1 down, a wave 2 retrace to your golden pocket, which is often where it retraces to, wave 3 coming down, and then at least coming to take out your 4,200 lows. At least. It might continue pushing further though. You see that bottom on ETH? That's my long. Or and which are you talking about, locally or on the higher time frames? Or this thing here? Because that would have been a good long too. Yeah, Crypto Shot 256. I agree. I do think that liquidity at 4,200 is begging to be taken, and we have semi-equal lows from this little consolidation before our big pump here. So, like I explained in yesterday's live stream, was it yesterday's live stream? Yeah, yesterday's live stream, that all of these imbalances, or we saw a lot of people long in this area, creating this giant imbalance in here. A lot of long positions stepped in. And of course, if you're a technical trader, you're going to be putting your stops below those lows. And so there is a lot of liquidity, key liquidity, resting below those lows, that if we come down, take out that liquidity, kind of reset the market for Ethereum, then we could see that big push up. I like 3,500 too, because I missed 3,400. Yeah, I get what you're saying there, man. I do get what you're saying there. I believe we longed. I posted about it in the Telegram ahead of time, and as we were coming down to this area right here, we were looking at this area, the back test of the bottom of the pitchfork band, and I took a long from this area here at the 3,400, but I took profit at the top of the pitchfork. I pretty much closed it all out. As soon as we started kind of topping out here and falling back below it, I took all my profit here. I was happy with it. And yes, I understand we came back up and made new highs, but you're not always going to catch the exact top and exact bottom of every trade. If you start to see some signs of bearishness in the market, then take profit. You know, we were starting to change market structure bearishly here, and we didn't know if this thing was going to keep going all the way back down to backtest the top of the pitchfork band again. So for me, I was happy with the trade. I was happy to take profit and move on to the next one. All right. Let's go into Solana, guys. Solana, we were looking at yesterday in the live stream, coming down to our golden pocket at 201. And you can see, as we were in this area yesterday in the stream, and we were seeing a little bit of a bounce before coming into that golden pocket. And I told you guys, you know, it could reverse here just like Bitcoin did. It could reverse here like, well, Ethereum hit into our support. But I was being patient. We knew that our level of support was just below us. We had continued bearish price action, and so I was patient. After we ended the stream, it was a couple hours after we ended the stream, we came down to that 201 level. I took profit on my short position there, closed it out completely, and I took a long from that area. We saw the bull divs on the chart, very nice bull divs, lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves, and our money flow was rising here. Bull divs, money flow rising here. So we had confirmations to enter the trade. We looked at and planned this trade ahead of time. And when we entered this trade, I was looking to at least come up to take out some internal liquidity into our golden pocket. And that golden pocket is just pulled from these highs to the low that we made yesterday. That golden pocket there. Now, I posted about this golden pocket after I was in the trade because this golden pocket wasn't formed during the stream yesterday because we didn't come make this low until after the stream yesterday. So I posted in the Telegram, guys, my first take profit is going to be that 208.8 liquidity grab into the golden pocket. We wicked up a little bit past it, and then my TP2 was going to be this 213 area where the value area high of our local range in confluence with the pitchfork band and our liquidity is. And I am still in that long position. 50% of it is still open. If we do continue this dump to the downside and come down to like 200 and the value area low, maybe even grabbing some of this liquidity in here, I will look to re-enter if we see bull divs because Solana, because Solana has not come up to our golden pocket yet at 218 to 225. And that is our macro non-log golden pocket that we barely front ran here. And I don't think that we're going to get so close to this golden pocket without coming and touching it before seeing the bigger reversal down. So locally, yeah, I mean, we could chop in between the band and the midline all in here until we come up to that 218K area. But once we hit that 218K area, that's going to be really a key test for Solana. If we reject from that area, this kind of wedge-like structure that we have been forming could finally see the big breakdown, and we could get that bigger overall correction, push down. We have to remember that so far this does look like a bigger, well, I mean, this could be from the very lows at 96K, not 96K, $96. A wave one, a wave two. This could be all part of our wave three here, where we could in the wave three. And I'm actually looking at that first purple box up there, but I am very aware of this golden pocket. And then a wave four down, and then a wave five to finish, maybe breaking up into new all-time highs again to finish this bigger impulsive structure to the upside. But that doesn't mean in the meantime we won't see small dumps just like this here, just like this here. We could see small dumps in this kind of wedge that we're forming, and even the wedge breakdown. Okay, let's go to the hourly chart. As far as locally, we are above the point of control of the range. We did bounce from our golden pocket, but we really want to come break above these highs at 213. That would really be a good sign that this sideways correction is going to start coming to take out the highs of the actual range into that golden pocket. Because this is a lower low, lower high. So far, it's a higher low here. If we can break above higher high, we would be changing market structure. We could look to continue up to that 231. And now remember, guys, that 231 to 235 area is really the big area of multiple confluences. We have a monthly level up here. We have a naked weekly point of control at 235, and then a daily at like 238. And that's near the top of this pitchfork, where we are still wrestling overall with the upper band of the pitchfork. Sterling, I please don't spam the chat with that stuff. I don't know if you are a real member or if you're just trying to spam the chat with coins that you preloaded. Guys, be very aware of people that come into the chat like this and say, hey, buy this coin, or where can we buy this coin? They're trying to get your attention focused on that coin where they've already loaded up on those bags. And then you're going to go buy it and they're going to dump it on you and you're going to be left with worthless coins. So be very aware. if you're newer in trading, that when people come in and post something like this, a random coin, 99% of the time it's kind of a scam to get you to buy that coin. They're going to dump on you. They've already bought. Even though, yes, thank you, T Matt, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to delete this SFP. I'm going to delete this golden pocket. We've already touched them. Now my next level for the take profit is that 213 level, 213 to 213. If we come up here, we reject up here, and we continue to form bear divs on the chart, I will look to short up here as well, because I'm playing this local range, this local upper range here. And knowing we're going into the weekend, we could maybe not hit this golden pocket till next week or even later. So yeah, I will be looking to short the highs of the range. Remember, range trading. Look for shorts near the highs, look for longs near the lows. We looked for a long near the low yesterday. If we push up to the high of the range, we can look for a short near the highs of the range. And you can stay in your long position as well. Take some more profit, but if you want to leave that to run, now you're in a schlong position. You're long and short at the same time, hedging yourself, but you're long from the bottom, you're short from the top, you're in profit on both of them while in this range. And then whenever this range decides to break, whatever one gets stopped out, okay, you've taken some profit, you get stopped out at break even, let it go, because your other one is going to be winning. And that is a way to kind of hedge against yourself, not knowing what the market is going to do, but helping with your psychology, knowing that no matter what happens, you're going to be in a successful trade. As day traders, we are not, as traders in general, we are not trying to predict what the price is going to do. We're mapping out our key levels of confluence of support and resistance, and we're waiting for the market to come to those levels. And if we have appropriate confirmation at those levels, we take the trade. If not, we don't. Yeah, the schlong hedge. You know, Jason Casper coined that word schlong, and I do think it's such a great word as well. But that's about it for Solana, guys. Solana, overall, let's zoom out onto the daily time frame. Overall on Solana, money flow still looks pretty good here. Yes, we do have some bear divs on the chart. Let me get rid of these brushes. We do have some bear divs on the chart, but I do think that it's very unlikely that Solana doesn't come up to at least touch this golden pocket before seeing a big breakdown. Oh, Tiamat, no worries, dude. No worries at all. Okay, so that's it for Solana. Let's go on to Sui. Now, guys, Sui, nothing really has changed since yesterday. Go on to the 2-hour chart. I'm still waiting patiently to come down to this area, 295 to like 288, where we do have that naked daily point of control in confluence with our golden pocket below. And you can see here we are in a nice descending channel, a smaller one. Let me hide this big one for now. Nice smaller descending channel in this kind of sideways and down correction that we're seeing. And we are below the point of control of our big range. So because we are below that point of control, I'm looking to come down a little bit further, especially if we reject right now from it. We've been spending a few days below it in this area around the anchored VWAP. I will say this looks pretty nice for a bottoming formation. You see that left shoulder, head, right shoulder here, or a little mini accumulation, a little mini Model 2 accumulation in here. And oftentimes that rounded bottom that creates that accumulation type structure, you will see a breakout and a push up. And if we do break out, I want to break market structure at 353, let's say 353. That would be a really good sign that we are going to push up to the top of the channel, but maybe even break out of this bigger descending channel here and break up again to come up and test our resistance that we did short, by the way, up here. There was a naked weekly point of control and the value area high of our macro range. We were looking to come up here and we were looking for a big rejection from this area. So far, this rejection does look more corrective. This whole push down that we've been seeing so far does look more corrective. And because it does look more corrective, I am prioritizing long positions, especially if we come down to this golden pocket. We reject from value area high, come down to golden pocket, make a higher low, and then we could see a breakout not only of the macro value area high. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart. So the value area high of our big upper range here, this big guy here. And if we start to break out of that, new all-time highs could be following very, very shortly after. And overall on SUI, we had our nice impulse here. We had our correction down to the golden pocket. Because we had broken some market structure, I was comfortable buying some spot down here and taking a big swing long position down here. And we even broke above our prior highs, seeing the SFP into the value area high here. So market structure has shifted bullishly. You have your high, higher low, higher high, just barely, but it is a higher high. So now if we come down to your golden pocket, another higher low, and then this could be the start of a much bigger double 1-2, a 1-2, 1-2. You get your big explosion up in a 3, and then you start to see your 4-5, 4-5s come in. If we want to see that happen, when we hit this golden pocket, we want to see a very nice impulse out of here. Very nice impulse to start. 5, correction, boom. And then this would all be part of your bigger third wave. Money flow is starting to bottom out here on the daily time frame, but we do not have bull divs yet. And because we do not have bull divs, actually this is a 12-hour time frame, but we do not have bull divs. Let's go on to the daily real quick. Yeah, no bull divs on the daily. Money flow is still kind of dropping here on the daily. It's starting to come up again, both on NAMI and Market Cipher B, starting to come up. But I suspect that this kind of slow grind down will continue until we come to that golden pocket. Locally, because of this bottoming formation, we might see a bit of a rise here. Getting above the point of control is going to be key. You can see earlier today we rejected it. Now we're coming down to the midline. We're seeing a small bounce from the midline. We might make another shot at trying to break that point of control. But overall, if we do spend a couple times trying to break above this point of control and reject, then I do think we will continue down to make new lows, coming down to that 295 area. This anchored VWAP that we're forming a bottoming formation around right now is a pretty key anchored VWAP. That is going to be from our ultimate lows where we started this big impulsive move to the upside. So if SUI really does want to maintain strength of the overall uptrend on more macro time frame levels, it is nice to hold this. But you can see we have dipped below it once before and formed a very similar bottoming formation here into golden pocket support. Remember that we had to come down and hit support first. So even though we're forming a very local bottoming formation, it could be that we come down, hit this, and see now a bigger bottoming formation, like something like this, below the anchored VWAP, and then break back above it and start to take off. Okay, let's turn off our macro range, and then let's just look at the price action, the volume of this all the volume within the descending channel. And this is why I also am a little bit wary that we are not going to reverse quite yet and that we might come down to this golden pocket, is because we are below the value area low of this range. The value area low of this range is also right around where the point of control of our big range is. Let's see, what was that? Point of control of the big range, value area low of the small range. If we come up here and reject, then the trend will continue down. Very high likelihood to continue down. And I'm looking for actual support to be hit. Now, coming into this golden pocket, we do want to see some bull divs on the chart. As we're making lower lows, lower highs coming down, we would want to see some bull divs on this guy. Money flow should be bottoming out and at least starting to rise to the upside on medium time frames, and then on the low time frames, we want to see the money flow in the green. That's it for SUI. Let's see, Say is looking pretty good. Now, on Say, I'm looking at a descending channel more locally. So these two lows here I pulled a descending channel from these two lows and I just brought it up to this first high. Really, all I'm looking at is this price action in here. So even though the channel kind of extends back, the channel is really based off of this. And I'm looking at this here. And we came to the top of the channel this morning. We did reject the top of the channel. Let me get rid of this here. We did reject the top of the channel. And we have not come down to hit our support level that we had marked out, that SFP into the value area low of the range. And so I'm really looking to come down to actually hit this value area low again. Yes, we did tap into it here. And we have changed market structure very locally. Market structure break there. So market structure is bullish very locally by breaking above that and then creating another higher low. Now we've created another higher high. So this right here is the first sign of bullish market structure and potential reversal. But we're looking at this bigger range here. And within this bigger range, we're looking for just continuation here. Value area low has been tapped. The liquidity down here to me is very, very interesting at 26.27. And then, of course, the liquidity, the semi-equal lows of this liquidity is something else I'm really, really watching. But let me clean this chart up, and I will talk to you guys about the bigger implications we're looking at. We did come up on SUI to that macro log golden pocket. If you guys were watching my streams back in the day when we were up here in mid-July, I took profit on my long position from right here. We longed the back test of the pitchfork midline. We took profit exactly at 38 cents based off of the macro log golden pocket that was there and the top of the pitchfork band. And since then, we're really just ranging between the midline and the upper band. And now that we have rejected the top of the upper band, broke market structure bearishly by breaking these lows, so broke market structure bearishly, now we can look for a lower high to come in on the charts. We did create that lower high right up into the pitchfork band again, and now we are breaking, and then you can see even here we rejected the bottom of the pitchfork band. So there is a potential that this downtrend continues to take out the liquidity from our first drop or the liquidity from this entire sideways range. And potentially even coming all the way back down to test the midline again. I'm not that bearish yet. And I do like, if we turn this range back on, I do like how we're really holding the value area low. After tapping into that value area low, we created that break of bullish market structure. So what does that tell me locally? Locally, that tells me we could come up to our local golden pocket. And if we pull it from the last rejection of the lower of the pitchfork band to our lows that we created on Monday, that golden pocket coming in at 30.96. You can see we have an internal liquidity grab into that golden pocket. And so I think I did long SUI. Let me check my... Yeah, I am long on SUI, and my next take profit level is going to be that 30.96 there. If we do come up here and reject creating bear divs locally, I will even possibly look to short this and look to just form another low into that, or another drop into that value area low, continuing to just trade this range. Now, if we break above that 30.96 area, I think that we could come all the way up to the value area high where our 786 is, and it would be the top of our pitchfork band. Bounce from value area low, reclaim POC. If we do not SFP, we might see a small rejection from the pitchfork band, but then coming up here. If we reject up here, then I would expect us to come work our way all the way down to the bottom of the range again. Oh, what's up, Ibir? Welcome in, man. Let's see. What did you say here? Looking bullish weekend for a relief. What's your POV? Well, I think it's just going to be rangy, rangy type price action. As far as Bitcoin goes, we are seeing a little bit of a nice rise over the last couple hours here after this drop. But because this drop was so aggressive, it does look a bit impulsive here We did bounce from our local 786 of just pulling the fib from this low to this high. We bounced from the local 786. But because this was such an aggressive drop down, this could be the start of an impulse down. So, we could be looking for a 1, 2, and then another big 3 down to actually hit into our value area low in our golden pocket. We do have a new golden pocket from yesterday because we made a new high, and that golden pocket is resting right into yesterday's lows and into the value area low of our range. So I do think that over the weekend, we might see that drop down to that golden pocket. But overall, weekend type price action, ranging between here. And we do have to remember we front ran that key golden pocket liquidity grab this morning. Okay, let's check out the total market cap here. Total market cap is just still chopping around in this upper range. We did reject from the pitchfork band, and we have not come down to the midline. So overall, if we lose this value area low, I'm looking for a drop to grab the liquidity at 3.56 trillion. We're struggling with the POC. You can see we've had a couple times where we're trying to break up past it, but really failed breakups past it. And if we drop down and we lose the value area low, I mean, I just think this downtrend is going to continue. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now, locally, we have broken market structure, very locally. But on a higher thing, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Just continuing bearish market structure. Sideways range. If we can break up past the POC, I mean, there's a very, very high likelihood we're coming up to this golden pocket. And it looks like our value area high has shifted down now. If we pull this back a little bit, you can see that value area high was in a different area. So it's not as nice confluence with the golden pocket anymore. But I'd be just generally looking at this general area. I want to see how our 8-hour. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, guys, this is kind of bad to see here because we did make higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves here. And our money flow, yes, it is coming up, but it's starting to look a little bit like it's going to roll over here. And on NAMI as well, starting to look like it's going to roll over here. So we don't want to lose this value area low. XRP, let's go into XRP here. XRP is bouncing from our support box that we had marked out before I went on vacation. And this was a pretty big macro support level, but we are struggling to reclaim the value area low. Let's actually go onto the 6-hour and let's pull this volume profile all the way. You can see we're struggling to get back inside the volume profile. And now that we lost it, we have hit into our support finally. But if we can't get back above this value area low really quickly, we probably are going to continue down to take out this liquidity that's just below us. We did take out the liquidity here. You can see very nice liquidity takeout on the daily time frame. It was an SFP of that low. But we have to remember on XRP, we were looking at a bigger 3-wave corrective move that could bring us down a little bit further. And we're also in our big range. So let me get that on the chart. Since the beginning of December, we've kind of been ranging sideways. Well, what happened earlier was really key. First of all, bouncing from the macro log 382 told me that we were going to make new all-time highs because the 382 often acts as support in a strong trend. So we bounced there. We created some impulsive price action to the upside. At the time, the value area high was here, and our bigger descending channel that we were in was there at the top. We rejected from it. We came down to the value area low and to our golden pocket. bounced from that golden pocket, and then this is what was really key. We broke out of the volume profile with nice volume to the upside. Very nice break of the value area high. And very similar to Bitcoin, after breaking out of your macro volume profile, come back down to backtest it. So let me hide this channel. Let me get rid of some of this local stuff here. And you can see now that we have broken out of the macro value area high, yes, we have come back to backtest it once immediately. And we did see a nice bounce from that backtest. Came up, we made a lower high, and now we are in process of kind of backtesting again to see if this is going to hold. What I do like to see is this looks very corrective here. This looks very corrective, and it's forming that descending channel that oftentimes will break out. Descending channel here that oftentimes will break out and start to continue continue that impulsive price action to the upside. But we're at a very key level, very key macro support level. We kind of need to hold this value area high. If we do lose it, what we were looking for really was to come take out these lows, and we finally did that on Monday. So grab the liquidity of those first lows. This thing could be done here, and we could be about to explode up. Now there's the confirmation is not the best here. Money flow crossing into the red, crossing now on NAMI. Also, we saw a small push up into the green, but overall rolling over. No bull divs on the chart on market cipher B. Now NAMI created local bull divs between these two lows. Lower lows here, higher lows here. And also NAMI is showing some bull divs between this low and this low. Lower lows here, higher lows here. Money flow, we really want to see that kind of start kicking back up here. Let's go on to the 4-hour chart. The fact that we are holding above this value area high right now is a good sign. And it does tell me that we might be seeing a bottom here. A bottom, we took the liquidity, and now we can start to see that big reversal. As we were taking the liquidity, we did have confirmations here, not only an SFP, but lower lows, higher lows. I guess maybe a NAMI, not so much. But we had the bullish divs on the SFP, taking out of the lows. Money flow is a bit concerning. Both NAMI and market cipher B are draining on the 4-hour. Okay, so what I want to see now, because money flow is kind of looking bad here, we can pull a Fibonacci retracement from the lows to the highs, and we can look at this golden pocket. This local golden pocket here would be a level I would be interested in taking. When was this? Earlier to yesterday, we had front run that golden pocket. You can also see we have some internal liquidity right around that golden pocket, some very nice internal liquidity. So we have yesterday's low and Tuesday's low into that golden pocket. We'd want to see us take out this high first, though. For more confidence, we want to take out this high because that would mean a break of market structure. Your high, your higher low. If we got up there, took out that high, and then rolled over and came down to that golden pocket, that would be the best thing to see and give me more confidence to long this golden pocket. Okay, let me check the chat. Check out TRX chart on the weekly. Looks like it's being popped up by, okay, Justin Sun. Something. Yeah, I'll TRX, okay. Yeah, looking pretty good here. Very, very clean uptrend. Dang, is there a better chart for this though? Let's see. Yeah, all right. So TRX, we've got this weekly ascending channel, very nice ascending channel on the weekly time frame. No real weekly bear divs either. money flow is finally starting to kind of drain out here or top out. But I honestly think, is this wick on all the exchanges? Let me check this. Yeah, I mean, looks like that wick is on all of them. So I think that we're going to come take out that high. Just by looking at this right now, I think we are going to come take out this high. And that does look a little bit blow off toppy. Oh, and we are rejecting from our golden pocket. Okay. We're rejecting from the golden pocket. If we come back inside of this channel, we're probably going to see a move to the bottom of the channel. Actually, we're probably going to see a move to take out this liquidity of the first low, forming a bigger, we had our low, lower high, and then we could come down at least to grab that liquidity. But it could be the start of something bigger here. Let's we have a couple key weeklies to be looking at. No monthly levels. Okay. Monthly is forming. No, not yet. No bear divs yet. That's good. This to me is actually, now that we're zoomed in on the daily, kind of looking bad for a bigger pullback. Higher highs here, 3 higher highs here, lower highs here, just barely, but it is a lower high. Look at NAMI, multiple lower highs in the momentum waves. And now that money flow is finally topped out and is consistently dropping for a couple weeks in the red already on NAMI, we could see that bigger push down. Yeah, okay. So really, really nice level of support at 26 cents, 26.50 to 26 cents. We do have this last daily low down here. And yes, it's a little bit below the golden pocket, but that liquidity that's resting down here into a weekly level and into that macro golden pocket pulled from the last weekly low to the high, the lower high that we made. If this is going to create that sideways range, we could see something like this. And then even if we continue dropping to take out the lows, make a lower high and then continue dropping, this could still be a nice scalp or day trade long opportunity. But rejecting from that golden pocket is not too good to see. If we fall back inside of this channel, I mean, very high likelihood we make a move down to the midline of the channel. And yes, it will take time because it's on the daily time frame. We do have some bull divs on the chart. Money flow doesn't look the best here. In the red on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. But I mean, I do have to say there is nice divs. Lower lows through all of this. Higher lows here. Money flow was curving up. If we can make another bottom on money flow, it would give us money flow and momentum bull divs. And then look at all the bull divs here on NAMI as well. Money flow is crossing up into the green on the 2 hour. Our Pink, thank you, man. Well, thank you for joining. And Mark Dutch, welcome in. It's good to see you, dude. Busy manscaping. Okay. So you can look divine under your hood. I love it, dude. I love that, man. Let me get rid of this guy. Okay. Sudeep, I'm going to make you a mod. Did that work? Okay, cool. All right. So TRX, we are falling into the channel for the first time. If we do come up and reject that, I think we'll just continue to develop more bull divs. Locally, though, it is starting to look a little bottomy, and we could get a little bit of a reversal up. Coming back down into this channel is not going to be good. So if we close today's daily candle back inside that channel, I would be a bit concerned. Yeah, losing value area low, or not, excuse me, POC. And so we might make a move down to grab this internal liquidity, this last big daily low, into the value area low. No good confluence for 786. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that naked monthly point of control at 31.37. There's that 786 that was there as well. Pretty much right on top of that. It could be a fake out of this value area low, hit into that reclaim, start to push back up. But if we fall that steep back within this weekly ascending channel, then I would be looking for a rejection of the naked monthly point of control, which would probably be fresh still, and the top of the channel to continue bearishly. Let's check our weeklies. Okay, locally, we have a naked weekly point of control in confluence with our local golden pocket of the last daily low to that high. So I would expect some sort of bounce in this support level at 3260, like 3271 to 3249, with 3260 being the naked weekly point of control. If we close the daily candle back within this channel, we pretty much not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed in trading, but we have a very high probability of coming down to this area of support. Maybe see something like this, hit that other one below us, that 786 below us. Yeah, it does look very toppy, very, very toppy here. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, lower highs in the momentum waves. Money flow topped out on the 2-day time frame and draining, topped out, draining, about to cross into the red for NAMI. And then rejecting from that lower high gold macro weekly golden pocket, pulled from this high to this low. I mean, to me, it does look like this is going to be lower high, and then now at least a significant drop back down. Like on weekly and monthly time frames, though, this thing is bullish, like crazy bullish. So if we come to that weekly at 26 cents, I mean, I'll be looking. Actually, let's do this. Let's set an alert here. I'm scared too long because of that liquidity buildup from the continuous pump, but the short could be juicy. Are you talking to Crypto Shot 256? Are you talking about Tron, or are you talking about Bitcoin? Press hide from channel. Okay, cool. Mark Dutch knows far more about modding than I do, even. Dominance is still wrestling around with that golden pocket. Now, we lost the golden pocket, and we're like kind of trying to test it to see whether we can kind of flip it to support again and continue pushing up, or if we're going to roll over and continue down. I honestly think it's going to continue rolling over. We do have nice bull divs though on on the daily time frame, and money flow has bottomed out. Actually, very nice bull divs. It's all going to depend on if we can reclaim this golden pocket. If we reclaim this golden pocket, I suggest that Bitcoin's going to get dominance is going to push up like a lot. So we might see another run on Bitcoin to new levels of price discovery. Now the alts will probably pump too, but if majority of the Bitcoin usually pumps first, and then the alts follow afterwards. You were born a mod. That's awesome. I mean, you are the mod of all of YouTube, all of crypto YouTube. You are it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. All right. There we go. I mean, guys, though, alt season has got to be on the horizon, because we finally breaking down our 2.5 year trend on Bitcoin, like pretty much the entire bull market. This has been the trend on dominance. So Bitcoin has really stolen the show, the spotlight for this bull trend. But finally, with this break that we're seeing, and then the rejection from that key low, now coming down to golden pocket. But look at these divs, these bear divs, higher highs through all of this, lower highs there. Money flow is finally topped out now and is consistently draining out of the asset. On the 3-day time frame, it's about to cross into the red. Probably another couple weeks until it crosses into the red. But I mean, I would be shocked if we don't see. Now, I don't think we're going to see an alt season like some people think, like 2020 or 2017. I do not think we are going to see that kind of alt season. There's too many coins now, too much dilution in the market, and people kind of got wise to that 90% of these coins are going to be junk. But I do think we will see an alt season where the real projects with real use cases do get a pretty nice push. And even the kind of crappy ones will. Justin Moon looking at TRX now. Yeah. I was looking at TRX just a second ago. When dominance goes up, Bitcoin will dump. Yeah, I mean, just because dominance is going up doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going up, right? It could be that Bitcoin's dumping less hard than the altcoins, which is going to make dominance go up. But generally, when dominance is going up, you're seeing Bitcoin kind of push up against the altcoins. It's kind of stealing the show for now. It usually happens like where Bitcoin pumps first, and then Bitcoin will kind of slow down in range, and then it shifts into the altcoins, the large cap altcoins, and then it kind of goes into everything else. Chainlink, yeah, let's check Chainlink out. I took profit on my short yesterday on Chainlink when we SFP'd this. I had a limit TP set there. But Chainlink finally came down and took out that liquidity. And we are seeing a very nice liquidity grab from that low. Overall, though, I do have to say, I do think Chainlink has a high probability of continuing down to backtest this macro value area high at like 20.7. Right down here, 20.7, 20.6. And then it's the lows of this upper range that we have here, this upper range. And one of the reasons I'm thinking that is because we lost the midline of this pitchfork, this red line here. We lost it. We attempted a breakout of it, saw some failed auction type price action up here, and now we're losing it. So I think that we could come down a little bit lower, and we're also below the value area low of the range. You can pull this range two ways. You can pull it to there, and then let's pull that all the way. Either way, you're below the value area low. You see that there, and then if you're just looking at really the price action above from the first break above that pitchfork midline, we're below the value area low each way. And if we look at this earlier today, we rejected the bearish backtest of the value area low. Support, deviation, got back into it, lost it again, resistance, and now we've taken out the liquidity. So now that we've taken out the liquidity, this could be another deviation. And if we break back in it, I think we are going to at least come for these highs up here at $24, but we're probably going to come up to the value area high. I do have to change that golden pocket now. Golden pockets at the value area high. I believe there's not a daily. Yeah, a weekly's there as well. Weekly, golden pocket, value area high. Very nice level of resistance, this purple box. Okay, we do have a naked monthly before. That's going to be strong. No naked weeklies. Did we hit that naked daily? No. Okay, so on the SFP from earlier today, we didn't quite hit that naked daily. Let's double check that to make sure that is still naked. There we go. Okay. Yes, it is. We still have a naked daily point of control just below us. It would have been much nicer if we SFP'd and actually touched the naked daily point of control, but we did not. Get rid of that now. One hour chart does have some nice bull divs on it locally. Lower lows here, higher lows here, higher lows here. Money flow is coming up overall into the green now, crossing into the green on the 1 hour chart. It's just such a shame. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we reject from VWAP and actually come down one more time to hit that naked daily. But if we do that, I will be looking for a long from that area if we continue to develop bull divs. Just because we didn't hit the naked daily. $15-minute bear divs are playing out from earlier today. Lower or higher highs in the price action, lower highs, and money flow draining out of the asset. I'm going to set an alert on this naked daily. $200 MA is getting tested at the moment on the 3-minute chart. Push 212.4. But overall, Tiamat, on Chainlink, if we pull our fib from the range lows to our range highs, we're below the golden pocket. We bounced from the 786, but like if we put it on that 786, but we've already tested it once with this low. And so now that we're breaking that back down below it again, remember in ranges, the 886 will often give you a bounce. So be aware that that 886 is at like 2165, But because the liquidity is resting right below it, I think that if we don't bounce from this naked daily point of control, then we probably are going to come down to backtest the macro value area high. It's just the way the market works. When we break out, we reject from a resistance, and then we start to roll over. Let's zoom out here. I'll turn off these levels so that you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Big macro value area high goes back to November of 2023. So we broke out of the value area high with a nice break here. Low time frame, kind of a back test. We front ran the back test, but attempted to get above the midline. And this head and shoulders type price action that we saw above the midline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we're kind of dumping back down now. But I'm not looking for a real breakdown here. If we come down to SFPR range lows into that macro value area high, I want to see us eventually come up to that $35 area. So I will be looking, if we're continuing to develop bull divs coming down to that 20.7, 20.6, I definitely will be looking for swing longs. Because this does look more corrective as well so far. All right, let me check the chat here. Press hide user on timeout. Oh, you don't have the ability to ban them. I don't know what I don't know how to change moderator settings, but I'll look that up, and maybe for the next stream you guys will have that. But oh wait, never mind. Mark Dutch is on it. I don't see us hitting 113.810 simply because it will change market structure. Yeah, I mean, okay, so look, going back to Bitcoin here, it's highly likely we continue in this bottoming range for the weekend at least. It's weekend price action, guys, and we did reject from the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. To me, that is a bad sign. That means this bearish trend could continue, because if we were going to find strength and start to actually reverse this, if we were actually going to start to reverse this, then you would expect to break above that anchored VWAP, flip it to support, and then continue to the next major resistance. But because we rejected from that anchored VWAP earlier today, it's likely that at the very least, this bottoming range kind of continues here for a bit before we start to make that reversal and potentially even come down to 105. I've been working on price action for years with all my tools. Indicators tell me a high possibility. Okay. Well, I do think, that front run, actually, in some ways, this is bullish, guys. Whenever you front run a liquidity grab so closely like we did earlier today, front ran this liquidity grab into the golden pocket. The next time you do come up, if you do come up there again, the next time you do come up, you're more likely to break through it without an actual confirmed SFP, but you'll break through it, kind of flip it, and continue the trend pushing higher. This looks a little bit impulsive to me. So I'm looking for a lower high before another lower low, and continuing to trade the range throughout the weekend. That doesn't mean that we won't come up here and break this. I actually do think we're going to come up and break that. The big question is it going to come down to 105 first? And we just don't know yet. Yeah, Storm on Saturn, this very local push down today does look a bit impulsive. So very, very locally, this looked corrective to me. This whole thing looked corrective to me. And now this looks like, look at how quickly we retraced most of that multi-day push up. And that does mean that we could continue down. Even if this is going to be a bigger complex sideways correction in here, even pushing down to this golden pocket and taking out yesterday's lows would be like kind of a good thing. Take out yesterday's lows, then come up and take out the 113.8 highs. To me, that's all still in the same area. It's not really a big dump that we're seeing. As far as is the bigger bottom in? Well, if it is, this is the area where you would expect to find it. The big macro support. It is our pitchfork midline. Let's zoom out on this. And last time we touched this pitchfork midline, we got a very nice impulse out of this, a big push up out of this. And as we were coming down there, nice 3-wave corrective move, rejected the upper band, came down to the midline. Rejected the upper band, came down to the midline. So we could be just in this overall trend of trading between the pitchfork levels. Nice rounded bottom here, some bull divs that we saw on the charts. 8 hour had bull divs, 6 hour had bull divs, 4 hour had bull divs. We're wrestling with it. And yes, oftentimes, like I said at the beginning of the stream, oftentimes with these more macro support levels, you start to form a range in here for a bit to confirm that like the selling is getting exhausted. And then you'll break market structure, flip what used to be considered like the POC or value area high into support, and then continue pushing up, trying to push back up into your last volume profile and trying to push up to new, like the highs of the range, which in this case is the all-time high. Okay, let's see here. All up from here. Yeah, you know what, guys? I do not try to predict what it's going to do. I mark out the levels and I trade whatever comes. So if we come up to 113,800 and we have bear divs and maybe we confirm that SFP, you bet I'm going to take a short trade. But if we come up there and it doesn't look too bad, then I'm going to say, well, guess what? I'm just going to be patient and wait for the next resistance or wait for something else. Locally, money flow doesn't look too bad. Nami was showing some bull divs here into these lows. And we're above the POC now. I don't really like how I would honestly be looking at 786 value area high because that would fill this big imbalance here. That's a fair value gap that we got in there. See, that fair value gap would be filled right into that 786, right into that value area high. So if we are going to see this being the start of an impulse, low, you got your big start down, lower high, and then you could drop to that golden pocket in a lower low, value area low, reject value area high. You can probably say we're going to rotate to the bottom, the value area low. And this might be a 5-wave push. Okay, let's look at ETH real quick one more time and Solana one more time, and then we will. Yeah, so long from ETH on the SFP this morning. We're above the point of controls of our local range, our local bottoming range, and our bigger upper range, topping range. Looking to come up to 4407-ish, and then also up to 4500. So TP1 4400-ish, TP2 4500-ish. Money flow looks good. We just got a green dot on the hourly chart. No bear divs. Money flow looks pretty good here. Yeah, guys, I think that ETH is going to keep pushing a little bit. Solana. I want Solana to keep pushing too. Money flow looks decent. If we can close this hourly candle above this VWAP, I think we're going to continue up. That golden pocket is right in the middle of this imbalance, so I don't know if I'd be trying to short that golden pocket. No naked daily points of controls. The one for today is below us. So yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, this looks pretty good. I think that the altcoins will continue to push up a little bit here, even possibly Bitcoin. Okay. Oh, what's up, Darren Does Things? Welcome in, man. Wow, I guess I'm really behind on the chat now. Yeah, BTC does range most of the time, and that's why it's important to learn how to trade ranges. Mark the levels and react to the data in front of you. Tiamat, you really do understand it, dude. You really do understand it. If we get to 117, 118, how would you navigate if that level would be a major rejection and a lower high? If we have a chance, or if we have a chance to push to new all-time highs? Well, okay, good question there. Very good question. So, if we're coming up, it's a bit complicated because here's the thing. This is our macro support that has to hold, and if this does hold, then that really probably means new levels of price discovery. But if we're on this bigger correction that we are going to lose the value area high and dump back within the volume profile, then this box right here where we have a lot of confluence of resistance would be the area where you would expect a lower high to come in and then to drop down to form a lower low. So as we're coming up to this area, I don't know if it's going to be a small rejection to make a higher low and then continue the bullish trend, or if it's going to be the overall bigger lower high and now we're going to come down and make lower lows. We don't know. We just don't know. So you don't have to know though. The thing is, if you're coming up to this area and you're seeing higher time frame bear divs or even intermediate and low time frame bear divs, take the short. It's a confirmed short. Take the short and let it run. Now, if we coming down, if this is going to be the actual lower high before creating another major lower low, then as we're coming down to our golden pocket, or we're going to want to look at two things. We're going to want to look at the rejection either being impulsive, so a very nice clean impulse down, or if it's going to be a slow grindy corrective move. If it's a three-wave slow grindy corrective move, then you're most likely going to make a higher low and continue price action bullishly. But if it rejects from there harshly with a sharp impulse, then you could say, hey, this probably is going to be the start of a much bigger drop to the downside. But if you come up here and you have confirmed confirmations to take a short, take the short, not knowing whether it's going to be a swing trade or just another little drop to continue bullish momentum. And we'll just monitor this drop. We monitor this drop as we're coming in. So say we do come up there. Let's pull our golden pocket from the lows to, like, let's just throw it right in the middle of this box. And as we're coming up to this golden pocket, let me get rid of these. As we're coming up to this golden pocket, which would be where the POC of this mini range is, or it might shift by then, but we'll look at our other range. Let me hide this stuff real quick. This range, which is our more intermediate range, if we're coming up to that POC, we reject that POC, reject that golden pocket, we could be looking for a breakdown to about the golden pocket value area low of the range. And if it's going to hold, this general area will hold and we'll push up and we'll continue to form local bullish price action, reversing this downtrend here. But we just don't know if it's going to reject and continue the overall bigger bearish downtrend. As we're coming into this area, we won't really see confirmations. It will look bad, and we could, if it's an impulsive thing, we could impulse straight through it. We'll keep an eye on it as the next weeks develop. I'll be streaming. Vacation's over. We'll be keeping an eye out. If we even make it up there, guys. The thing is, we might come down first and continue this, bigger downtrend here. I still need you guys to be aware. Let me just hide this here. And I know people really hate when I talk about this. Really, really hate when I talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. We had let me go on to a different chart. Very clean and clear 5-wave impulse to the upside on the weekly time frame. 5-wave impulse on the weekly time frame completed. Now, after a 5-wave impulse completes, you're looking for some sort of corrective move. We could be seeing a flat correction in here where you come all the way back down to take out your 70s, this being a W or an A, B, a C. Now, your flat usually comes up between the 1.236 and the 1.382. So let's go ahead and look at that. Let me make this a little bit more digestible. From the highs to the lows of this multi-month correction, let's look at our, not that, there. 1.236, and let's just do this 1 point. Okay, where did we reject? We rejected the 1.382, guys. That 1.382 is one of the major targets in a flat correction. And so if this whole thing was a push up to make a flat correction, we're going to want to see us push down here, coming down. Now, generally, it'll start with an impulse. So far, this does not look impulsive. So far, does not look impulsive. But what we could be seeing here, because this obviously will take months to play out, just like this took months to play out, we would be looking for an initial push down, maybe to backtest the support we did now, a push up to that 118K golden pocket for a lower high, and then you'd want to see a big third wave impulse to the downside, 4 or 5, and then we could get more of that, creating a bigger overall trend down. And we'll just keep an eye on that over the next months, over the next weeks, next days. Let's look at a couple things here. Now, one of the things that I am concerned about, we did have high time frame bear divs, weekly, monthly bear divs. If we look at this multi-cycle pitchfork, this pitchfork has really guided us through this entire bull market. Now, this was pulled from the COVID lows to our 65K highs down to our bear market lows. I mean, look at how nice all these levels were. Rejected the top, first of all, rejected the lower part of the band, saw a multi-week correction to the downside, to your local golden pocket. Rejected the top of the band, saw a multi-week correction. We had that flat in here. This is a very similar example of a flat where you have that initial dump down, you come out to take out the highs, and then you come back down to take out the lows. So actually, if we do this, here, we could be looking at something very, very similar here, right? A flat correction, and then a push up afterwards. But, attempting to get above this midline at the beginning of the year, we formed what I called that all-time high range. We formed a distribution pattern up here. I made a video on it back in late November or early December. I can't remember. And then we did distribute down, and we hit into very, very key support down there. We hit into the bottom of the pitchfork band of our wave 3 pitchfork of that 5-wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that 5-wave impulse. The third wave pitchfork, we found support at the bottom band. But if we look at, we attempted to get above the midline. We couldn't. We broke market structure bearishly by breaking these lows here. Then we came up and we made a new all-time high, but rejected that midline again. On another attempt to break above that midline, we rejected. Made that 3-wave corrective move. I think that was a $14,000 drop to the downside in here. That was that drop from the all-time high down to that 98.2K midline. 98.2K midline. Rejected the upper band, came down to the midline. Rejected the midline of the multi-cycle pitchfork. And now we attempted to get above it again here. But this is like weekly time frame failed auction type stuff where you attempt to break above it and you really can't hold above it and then you start to lose it. So to me, that is somewhat of a bad sign that we're starting to lose it. The key is going to be holding this anchored VWAP, because if we hold this anchored VWAP, then guess what? It was just a little bit of a correction in a sideways range. And now we're hitting into key volume support showing strength. And then we're probably going to make another run at the midline, but also another run at all-time highs, continuing to break up into higher levels. And we'll just watch that as it develops. If we even come down here, it could hold where we're at right now based off of the macro value area high. Let's see here. This macro value area high being tested as we speak. Oh, wow. Okay, on Binance, we are below that value area high, which is concerning. A little bit concerning. Binance is a big exchange. Now, it's not the volume level I follow, but look at where, if you fall back inside that volume profile and then you come back up to back test it a couple times and you start to reject, then yeah, we have a very high probability of coming down to 105. Okay. Good question, Maddie. Good question. Wow. Venezuela buzzes our ships again, they'll be shot down. It was number 1 on Tinder in my area once. Dude. I think Mark Dutch is by far the funniest mod out there as well. And Mark, I am wearing pants today. Actually shorts right now, but 13% on big caps. Ina. Oh, it's a full moon this weekend. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, I'll check Algo. Guys, I do. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I do have to go, guys. Let me check Algo real quick. And then I was supposed to be out of here 12 minutes ago. So it looks like Algo rejected the upper pitchfork band or the lower pitchfork band of this pitchfork, and we're losing the pitchfork. Not a very good sign there. This overall does look like corrective so far. Let's check out our corrective target. So down to that 1-to-1 down there, that's kind of far. And then that 1.236 near that weekly does look nice. I would really be looking at these lows, these dead cat lows at 21.25. No bull div. So here's the thing. On the 8-hour chart, you can see we're forming a bit of a triangle in here. I would suggest that we're probably, money flow looks kind of bad. Hidden bear div printed on this lower high. Let's go to the daily time frame. Yeah, I mean, we did SFP these local lows, but we're not getting much of a move up that we would expect to get. SFP on the daily time frame, but we're still kind of creating local bearish structure in this little guy here. in this little consolidation. Man, what sucks is, look at, there is no structure here. So if we start to break down, I'm sure there's lower time frame order blocks and stuff like that, but let's take a fib from our last big daily lows to our daily highs. Let's go to our golden pocket and let's look at, so that's more than 100% move to the upside. So we got to change this to log scale because we are on the log chart. I would be looking at that. A lot of people are going to be trying to long right now because the non-log golden pocket is where we're at, but we might drop back down to 20 cents, that area of 20 cents. Do we have any order blocks in there? Yeah, and that's right below this little liquidity here. Let's take this pitchfork. Now that we're losing this pitchfork, this was a highly respected pitchfork. We can change it to our modified skiff version and we can look at the levels. I mean, so look at this. We were rejecting this upper band in here. And if we drop back down to the midline, that is going to be generally in that area. Dang. And then one more thing we could do. Let's get rid of this. Why is that there? We did not tap this weekly. You can see here we barely front ran that weekly. So that is still fresh weekly up there. This weekly imbalance, though. Oh. Okay, go on to the daily time frame. What we can look at here is this does look like a corrective trend so far. So you can pull that channel, bouncing, attempting to bounce from the midline. But if we don't bounce from that midline, like, we need to start breaking market structure in this bottoming formation. It is forming a bottoming formation here, starting to form a little bit of a range. Rejected value area high earlier today and bouncing from value area low. But overall, bearish market structure, lower lows here. Just squeezing. We're starting to squeeze. Now, in a symmetrical triangle, if your trend has been overall down, you actually do have a little bit higher of a probability to break that triangle down. It would be nice to make one more low because then you could have some bull divs. If we came down, even took out the lows from earlier this week, you would have very nice bull divs on the chart with money flow starting to bottom out and come up. That would be super nice. Okay, FET is at our pitchfork band, our lower pitchfork band. We rejected the midline, kind of came down to the band. We're just trading in between there, but this also looks very corrective. Below the value area low, though. So because we're below the value area low, and actually you can see here, we lost the value area low, bounced from the pitchfork band, but then rejected the bearish backtest of the value area low and made new lows. So I would actually be looking to come take out the lows of the range. And we might chop, just like we do a lot in these bands. We might chop for a bit until we get into that area. Or see like something like this where it's chopped for a little bit in this band, then see one wick outside the band, reclaim it, kind of continue to form a range in here, and then break it up. We are bouncing from the weekly. If we reclaim this pitchfork band that we're at right now, then we're probably going to make another shot at this value area low. And that's going to be our key back test. So if we do this, we bounce from the weekly. We still haven't broken market structure even on the 4-hour bullish. So, it could just continue squeezing down to the bottom of the band. Like I said, this range in here. But if we break above this band and break market structure, we're probably going to continue up to this value area low again. And that's going to be our key back test again to see if we can start changing market structure and continuing bullishly. Okay, shoot. I'll go after Algo. Okay, there we go. Is something happening on Bitcoin? Wait, Trump launches Dow. Department of War, a great time for a standard move. Wow. I mean, I don't see anything too big happening, guys. I don't know. A bit of a dump on the very low time frames. We're rejecting from VWAP. Now, I talked about this in yesterday's stream. Remember, on bearish days, in a bearish trend, when you reject from VWAP, you oftentimes will make new lows on the charts. We just came up to VWAP. We're rejecting from VWAP. Watch to take the lows from earlier today. Really, guys, watch for this now. I would not be surprised if we continue this dump to the downside to finally hit that golden pocket. Into our value area low. Trump is speaking. That's it. Okay. If we come down in SFP yesterday's lows and hold this golden pocket, I'll be looking for long. But I want to see local. So you're gonna have to look on like 15-minute and under. But if we're doing this, creating low, lower high, low, lower high, and if we're creating bull divs here, then I would want to take that. But look at our 15-minute, guys. This we talked about this. We had the bear divs confirmed on the 15-minute here, coming up into your anchored VWAP, and money flow is consistently draining out of the asset on the 15-minute. I think this thing is going to continue dropping down, personally. Little bit of crazy dump followed by a little quick reaction recovery. Yeah, I think this thing, even coming into our 3-minute chart, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves. Now money flows draining out. Bear divs, NAMI, money flow crossed into the red. I think this thing's going to keep dumping locally. Did we hit the 886? Bouncing from 886, but guys, remember, when you bounce from the 886 in a downtrend, it is now more likely to take out the lows of that 886 fib pull. With it being weakened, it could just be rangy. Yes, you do bounce from 886s a lot in ranges, but that was our 886 touch. Hidden bull div on the 3-minute chart, but we have bear divs as well and money flow. Now, a low time frame div like that, if your money flow is going against that div, the money flow is always going to win out against one single drive of div, especially if it's hidden bear. Really, you want to see bull divs and then like bull divs on low time frames and hidden bear divs on the higher time frames. Ooh, big dump in open interest. So just a lot of long traders getting stopped out. I mean, guys, that liquidity cluster right below us, we are so close to it. Do you honestly think that the market makers are not going to come down and grab that? Come down, grab the lows. we're closer to the liquidity of the lows, and then come up and shoot for these highs. I will stay on for 5 more minutes, and we'll keep an eye out on this for 5 more minutes. Ah, man, is my ETH long getting destroyed now? If we lose this POC, I think that we're probably going to come back down there, unfortunately. And I just might have to kind of close out some of that trade and move my stop to break even. Bear divs. Now a lower high trigger wave. Dang. Dead hours is a whale's playground. Yeah, because there's a lot less liquidity, but also it just can move the market that much easier. There's an eclipse on Sunday. Okay. Eclipse and full moon. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. Yes, they Storm on Saturn, you're right. They do purposely speak after the market closes. He's actually mentioned that publicly a few times. That they'll do these big news events after the market closes so it doesn't affect the markets as strongly. I mean, it's trying to hold. This does look like just continuation to me, consolidation. Where did we reject? Did we reject from the 0.5? Not quite. Okay. Didn't touch VWAP on Bybit. I'm telling you guys, Coinbase to me is the chart to watch. In my experience, in my opinion. Now I do watch both of them, but mainly I'm focused on these levels. All right, guys. Well, keep an eye out. What I will say about today is look at these pushes of this week. Slow, grindy pushes up, smooth, quick move down, slow, grindy push up, quick move down. I mean, it does just look like the Bears have the momentum right now. And I think that we're going to just continue to see us draw ranging continue. We have like less than a minute until this week 30-minute candle closes, and let's see if this money flow starts to roll over here. I suspect it will. yeah, guys, please hit the like button if you got anything out of this video at all. Also, thank you guys for being so active in the chat and hanging out. You know, Mark Dutch, I appreciate you as a mod so much. Big Deals, thank you for always being in here and giving your insight, because I do appreciate your insight as well. TRX, Storm on Saturn, all you guys in here. Thank you all for being part of the chat. Orphan, appreciate it. And I guess, you know, we'll just keep an eye on things. Keep an eye on things. Remember, as traders, we mark out our levels, and we don't try to predict what's going to happen. Like, I'm not going to predict if we're going to keep coming up here or keep coming down here. Although my bias, so I guess in some ways that's a prediction. My bias is to come down lower, but I'm not taking any action based off what I'm seeing right now. I'm waiting for my levels. Waiting for my levels. If my levels, like general area, gets hit, and we have confirmation, have confirmation to enter in this general area of support, then I will look to enter. Okay, new 30-minute candle. Money flow is curving over here. I mean, this just doesn't look good to me locally. Bear divs, bearish trigger wave, money flow draining out of the asset. Anyways, you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. It looks like we have some eclipses and full moons and all that good stuff. Appreciate you all. Samuel S., welcome, man. I see you're in here. Archie TV, thank you, man. It's good to see you in here. Yeah, right. My name isn't mentioned yet in the Epstein files. Oh my gosh. Well, if you were number one on Tinder, you never know. And Sudeep, thank you so much. Thank you for modding for me, and appreciate that. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace out.